said the only constant is change in college football, but over more than 150 years, there have been some things that you can count on. If you can run the football, you have a chance to win. And boy, do we have guys who can do that in this one. Welcome to Starkville, Mississippi, home of the Mississippi State Bulldogs. As we'll see a squad from the SEC, the Texas Longhorns, taking on another team from the SEC, the Mississippi State Bulldogs. For EA Sports, I'm Reese Davis, Jesse Palmer, and David Pollack with me. Guys, can't wait to get this started. And the Longhorns will kick it away first. He'll start the return inside his 5. Not a lot of space to be found. Good hustle by the coverage team, and they stop him at the 21. So Mississippi State's offense will have the ball first. We have got a tremendous matchup between these two running backs, both stars in their own right, and David, both ready to make a huge impact.
I mean, how fun is it to have two guys, one on each side, when they have the football, like they can go the distance. Just dynamic speed, great vision. These defenses are in trouble because these guys can touch it a bunch of different ways, and Palmer, they can hit home runs from anywhere on the field.
And I think what makes them really unique too, David, is that they're very versatile guys. Both guys can run between the tackle box, they can take it outside, they can both catch the football as well. So no doubt the game plan for both offenses, feed the running back as many different ways as possible and just let him go to work.
Turning it on! And tackled here by the defense.
Well, this is an offense that prides themselves on running the football, and they do it a lot of different ways. Here we are in the first quarter. You're already seeing the option, and this is a quarterback who is so dangerous. When the defense allows him to keep the football, the defense has got to be sound with their assignments for the rest of this game.
On 3rd and short, they'll try to pick it up on the ground here. Stopped in the backfield, and this defense has forced him into 4th down.
That's such a great physical play by the defense because this is one of the bigger, more physical running backs you'll see in the country, and we're used to seeing him push the pile the other direction. Not that time. It's the big guys up front on defense getting penetration, and they're sending him back for a tackle for loss.
Makes the catch at the 30. He gets it up to the 34-yard line before he stopped, and that's where the offense will set up shop. So Texas's offense will try to get something started with their first possession. You can barely hear yourself thinking here as they're trying to get this defense off to a good start. Hold it, finds his man on the left. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that.
Really good defense. You know, you're trying to stay as close as you can to all these targets, and most importantly, those open field tackles and getting them on the ground as soon as they catch it. That's a major deal for defenses, and that was a good example there of it.
They're dealing with a 2nd and long. Finding an escape route. They can rely on this guy to pick up solid yardage when they need it, and he's out to the 43.
You love to see this on offense. Early in drives, getting that kind of yardage keeps you ahead of the chains.
You know what they need, you know what they want, and you know what they deliver on 3rd down. More cowbell to the ground to try to move the chains. They were all over him, nowhere to go as that 3rd down play turned into a disaster. So we're scoreless, their first drive of the game, and this coach is wasting no time taking a gamble by going for it on 4th down in his own territory. They stop him short of the marker, and they'll turn it over on downs. Off the play fake on 1st down, wants to throw. On the move and looking deep. Oh, he dropped it. That deep ball was right on the money. You just have to make that catch.
Well, the offense taking a shot after getting the takeaway. They're in what's called the fringe area. It's not quite the red zone, but it's a good spot to throw posts, to throw goes, to throw deep corner routes, smash routes. And that's exactly what they were thinking that time. Just a little bit off on the throw. Nice play by the defense, but I love the aggressive nature that time by the O.
Option football is about responsibility, but I can't give up my hand. I can't show them really quickly and make it easy on them. Good job by the defense, staying patient, defending all the options, stringing it out, making a nice play.
They've got to come up with a big play on this 3rd and long. Lost one deep down the right side. And that one's incomplete. They weren't just trying to move the chains. They were trying to move the scoreboard. Instead, it's 4th down.
Well, this is a disappointing drive for the offense, considering where this drive started in their opponent territory. Now you're 4th and long. You've got to be better throwing the football in those types of situations.
So Mississippi State will have to punt this one away. And the punt hits ground at the 2 and goes into the end zone. He just missed, hitting them right in the shadow of the goalpost. It'll come out to the 20. Coming out on 1st down with the play fake. Fires to the big fella. And good coverage by the defense, just a short gain.
That's a great example of the defense there tackling the catch. As soon as the big fella caught the ball, down he went, not picking up the first.
So now it's 2nd and long. They'll leave it with him. He's stuffed after picking up one to the 23.
And, man, the big fellas up front, they don't get a lot of credit. They don't get talked about a lot unless it's negative, but they're the big component, man. They've got to get some push, to get some running lanes, get this running game going. They're the ones that make it go.
Better find the earplugs. Here comes the noise, backing this defense on 3rd down. To the air, it's Manning. Wide open downfield. And he gets it to the 44-yard line. It'll be a 1st down.
This tight end is such a weapon because he can line up all over the field. That time he starts in the slot. He's running the corner route against zone coverage, and he's just got athleticism and wiggle and the ability to separate and make big plays. So nice to have a target like that.
Wants to throw on 1st down. Fires complete on the crosser. They knock him down, but he's got enough to get it across the line and pick up the 1st down. Guys, the levels of hype and impatience awaiting the arrival of Arch Manning pretty much unsustainable over the last couple of years. Meanwhile, Quinn Ewers was pretty doggone good. But Arch is pretty deserving of all of this attention, I'd say, Jesse.
He's very, very talented. That jumps off the film when you watch him. You can see why he was so highly regarded coming out of high school. You can see why Texas fans are so impatient to finally watch what he does this year. Now, it's one thing to do it against Louisiana Monroe. It's one thing to do it against UTSA and Mississippi State. Can he do it against the Georgias? Can he do it against the big boys in the SEC on a consistent basis? We can't wait to find out.
From the gun, the running back has it. He has the first and still on his feet. He was running through tackles and picked up the 1st down and finally got knocked down. The Longhorns' first season in the SEC was a rousing success and so close to even more with a late loss to Ohio State. Steve Sarkisian and the Horns have the expectations right where they want them.
You said expectations. Has there ever been more hype around a quarterback in Arch Manning since, I don't know, Tim Tebow? People are expecting so much out of this young quarterback. If he hits the ceiling, David, this is going to be a really tough team to beat.
And he showed you flashes a year ago when he filled in for Quinn Ewers, and I think those flashes were so great. And then Texas, man, this is a program that's on the rise. The last couple years, making it to the Final Four in the sport, they're ready to take that next step.
They'll give it to the back. Breaks into the open. Headed to the end zone. And he runs it in for the score. Touchdown, Texas!
Man, we know football gets harder when you start to get in the red zone and the field shrinks. Who needs that? Break the long touchdown run. Nice job by the back. Seeing the hole, exploding through, getting a long touchdown run.
setting up for the extra point after the first score of the game. And the extra point makes it 7-0. So it's an 80-yard drive. And the house call coming on the run from the 23. Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. Looking for blockers. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. We'll see what they can do on this drive that starts at the 16-yard line. Here's a hit. Man, did he pay for it with that hit as he got rid of the ball.
Well, the offensive line has got to give him at least a little bit of time to survey the field. He had no chance that time, getting hit almost immediately after he got the ball.
Try to make up for some of that lost ground on second down. To the air, it's Shapen. Got him downfield. And he's almost to that first down marker there, saying he's a little bit short. They might want to bring out the sticks and measure, but it looks as if he'll be just short of the first down. Guys, it is Texas who holds the lead. And we've come to the end of one. And let's take a quick moment to catch up on the stats. Lots of time left, and we're ready to get back to it and open the second period. This offense had a little extra time to think about it. Let's see what they have on third down. They'll run the sneak for it. He's brought down, but it'll be enough for a first down.
And, David, on 3rd and inches right there, that's often a decision the quarterback predetermines. Who's my best guard? That's the guy I'm going to try to get behind.
And I know that defensively, too, but I'm just trying to dive and create a pile, but it's so hard to stop that play. That's why you see it ran so successfully.
He'll pull it on the read. Stopped in the backfield. He's going to lose 3 yards on the play.
Phenomenal job by the defense that time, shutting down the option play. They knew they were going to see this in this game, and all week long in practice, they really focused on this assignment football, making sure the dive, the quarterback, the pitch, all taken away. Nowhere to go with the football that time offensively. The defense coming up with a huge negative play.
Good timing on the quick out. Good, solid pickup on that one. They've got it out to the 40, and it's first down.
I love the anticipation on that throw by the QB on the out route. You got to throw it before the receiver comes out of his break. Nice work.
This offense has been sluggish to say the least, but finally they're on the move on 1st and 10. From the shotgun, the handoff to the back. Got the first down and more. All down, but he has enough to move the chains. The Bulldogs back to the line on first down. Let's see if they keep leaning on this running game. Looking downfield, it's Shapen. They're working that left side. Nice gain on that play, but a little bit short of the first down.
Nice job by the wide receiver getting open on that slant route against man coverage. He fakes like he's going to the outside. He's able to create some separation, cross his face, and then secures the catch.
And the Bulldogs with myriad options after that big pickup on first down. From the gun to give, looking for room. They bring him down, but not before he's able to pick up the first down. The Bulldogs kept this drive moving on the ground, now back to work. They'll ride the running back and leave it with him. He fought him off for a while, but that's what they mean by gang tackling.
And, man, you got to like the swarm of this defense. You've got to get in the backfield, make some penetration, and realize the first guy's not going to always get that big sucker on the ground. Like, he's a big, strong dude. He's breaking tackles, but still swarming to the football, and this defense still gets a tackle for a loss. Handoff from the gun. And
And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play.
That's a really good stop by the defense, Jesse. They need a few more. You've given up a bunch of yards on this drive and a bunch of plays, but all that matters is keeping them off the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's that bend, don't break mentality you're seeing right now, and this is the point where this defense has just got to lock in.
On 3rd and long, you'll need to push it downfield. And the incomplete pass will bring up 4th down.
Every defense in the country talks about getting offenses in predictable 3rd and long situations where I can bring on more speedsters and I know the pass is coming so I can have more success.
They'll try to cap off this drive with a field goal. And he's going to have to get into this football. This is a 53-yard attempt. Thought he had it and couldn't get it through the uprights. He missed it. And they couldn't cut into the lead. It's still a 7-point game.
And sometimes I just feel like 4th down, man. Just go for it every time. Like the field goal miss, make rate. And listen, kickers have improved the last couple of years, but you left some points off the scoreboard there.
Keeping it on the ground with the running back. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage.
And I can't tell you how much I love seeing corners being willing to come up and tackle. That is so huge for a defense. You can't olay blocks and create space. You can't just hang out on the outside. You got to go set that edge.
And conversely, I can't tell you how much I hate it when receivers don't want to block. You got to do a better job with the perimeter. It's not going to be enough in this offense just to catch passes. You've got to go execute your assignment. That corner should have been blocked. They should have gotten a bigger gain on that outside run.
If you didn't have a headache before, you've got one on the way. The cowbell's ringing on this 3rd down in Starkville. Quick release on the RPO. He ended up losing yardage on the play, and that'll bring up 4th down. They were banking on the yards after the catch, but that went into the negative column.
And I'm banking on the ball coming out quick. When I'm a defense and understanding 3rd and short, understand they're going to throw the ball really quickly, try to make a play. The defense knew it, broke on the football, made a nice tackle to force a 4th down.
The kick is on its way. The ball hits at the 5, and it'll go into the end zone for a touchback. They've got a little time here to put together a productive drive late in the half. The give on the option. May not be the most memorable play of the day, but it's important as he gets them out to the 25-yard line. Halfway there on 1st down, it's 2nd and 5. Wants to throw. It's Shapen. And the pressure gets there. And down he goes at the 18. Timeout is called, and it's the defense wanting to make sure that everyone's on the same page for this big down. Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. On 3rd and long, try to convert through the air. Pressure's there, and he gets rid of it. Didn't have much of a choice there, but to get rid of it.
And offensively, we know it's hard throwing the ball in 3rd and long situations because the defense can play big zone coverages. They got a lot of guys with their eyes on you, so the QB had no shot there. Nobody open. Nice job not forcing it, not risking a turnover, just throwing it away.
Mississippi State will roll out the punt unit. Takes it on the return. He was hoping for a little more running room, but they're able to get him down at the 45. Plenty of time to work, not any time to waste as they take over here in the final 2 minutes of the half. Fires to the wideout, working that left side. And he found all kinds of room and got it down to the 28.
Well, Reese, you and I were talking about this before the game. How is this defense going to be able to deal with all the speed they have offensively? You saw them just rip off a big play.
And, Jesse, now their head's spinning just a little bit. Give up a big chunk play, and it's right back at them. Offense has it at the 28 on 1st down. Use the play fake, now to throw. It's complete, and he will score. Touchdown, Longhorns!
one of the reasons this offense is so exciting to watch. They've got guys that are dangerous after the catch. And if this quarterback gets through his progression, David, he hits you in stride, these guys will take it to the house.
Man, it's your job to do the rest, right? You hit me in stride where I don't have to stop running. I don't have to break down. It makes it so easy, the connection between quarterback, wide receiver. You can tell this is a good one, and that's why they got 6 on that play.
Lining up for the PAT. And the extra point makes it 14-0. Aggressive play calling on that drive. Just 2 plays, they get the long touchdown pass to pay it off. The kickoff unit is out there, and boy, did that last drive quiet this crowd. He'll bring it out. It's Thompson. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. They'll start this drive from the 18-yard line. The give to the running back from the shotgun. That may not look like a huge run, but they'll take it as it gets them up to the 24.
And after a successful run like that on first down, if you're the offensive coordinator here, maybe you're thinking about being aggressive and potentially taking a shot, because even if it's incomplete now on second, you only have a short amount of yards to go here on third.
And the Bulldogs can play this second down a lot of ways with just a few yards to go. Got rid of it just in time.
The offense just has not been able to find a way to get their rhythm going here in the first half. We just haven't seen it in the passing game. That was a really good example of it again. If they're going to score more points in the second half, they've got to make some adjustments here at halftime.
The Bulldogs are at the line trying to move the sticks on 3rd and short. Looking downfield, it's Shapen. It's complete. They pick up the first down. They'll mark him at the 34. Got to be expeditious here. We got a timeout here late in the first half, and they'll try to get more points on the board before the break. Looking to throw on first down. Can't make the grab. Quarterback just missed him a little bit.
At this point, trailing by a lot, the defense is expecting you to throw it. If you're going to throw over the middle of the field, the window's going to open and close quickly. You've got to have better timing to complete that throw. They just didn't have it there.
Behind the chains now on 2nd and long. Misfired on the last play. They'll go back to the air. This time on target. The clock will stop with this timeout from the offense. They'll get a chance to regroup on the sideline. And the Bulldogs are at the line looking to convert on 3rd and short. They'll try to pick up the first through the air. Caught near the sticks. It's Mosley. The offense uses a timeout to stop the clock, and they'll get a quick breather.
Really nice job there by the quarterback, understanding that it's zone coverage on 3rd down. You're going to have to find someone working into a soft spot, get the ball out of your hands quickly, make an accurate throw, and pick up the first. Well done.
And they make the tackle, but the official has tossed his flag. Just when they thought they had the big play, the penalty wipes it out. The snap sets up the throw. Immediately fires to the middle. They make the stop, but not before he takes a chunk out of what they need to move the sticks.
One of the things you love about this running back is not only can he run between the tackles, but he's also a weapon in this offense, catching the football.
One more snap coming before juice boxes and orange slices. Looking to throw, it's Shapen. Got the back over the middle. He'll be brought down, and that's the final play of the half. We played 2 quarters here. Time to go to Kevin Connors in our halftime update.
Man, if nothing else, a notable first half so far in Starkville. And how can we begin our analysis of that first half without singing the praises of one of the elite backs in football? Racking up huge numbers on the ground, even throwing the occasional block. This kid is the total package. And if this defense doesn't adjust its strategy, he could be headed towards a career day. And with that, let's send it back to the fellas at Davis Wade Stadium.
Mississippi State has it teed up, ready to go here in the second half. And he'll return it and try to get behind his blockers. And the return man is stopped, and that'll leave it up to the offense on the next drive. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. The Longhorns sending the offense back onto the field. Off-play action on first down. Looking to the big tight end. Grabbed over the middle. It's Washington. And an explosive play has him on the move, and he gets it all the way to the 48-yard line.
What a throw on first down on the first play of the drive. And I think sometimes quarterbacks are given an alert on a specific play. And what that means is maybe the ball was supposed to go to somebody else. But in pre-snap, if the quarterback sees a matchup he likes, he's given the green light to take the shot. And I think that's exactly what happened on that play.
Off the play fake. Oh, it's picked off. Oh, that's not the way to start a drive. Knocked down at the 43-yard line, and the interception has him set up in plus territory. So you come out of the locker room for the second half, and right away, you throw a pick.
Bad news, too, because you go into the locker room and you sort of regroup, and you start thinking about how you're going to attack this defense, what adjustments you're going to make. You feel like you got a good plan running out of the locker room, and then to throw a pick right away, man, that is a gut punch.
Here comes the Mississippi State offense ready to attack. They really need to find a way to punch back on this drive, already down 14. They get him in the backfield, and he loses 3 on the play.
And coming out in the second half, this offense, they needed to establish this run game. They needed to get something going. They're losing. They've got to find a way to get a flow, to get a rhythm. And so far here to start this second half, defense picking up where it left off.
The play-action fake. Under pressure, and down he goes at the 33.
Well, we've seen this offense struggle early in this game, protecting the quarterback. They went in at halftime, thought they had made the right adjustments, but it's not looking like it right now. They're still having issues keeping this guy standing up straight. Up front, they're just getting beat across the board.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. On 3rd and long, he'll need to loosen up that arm. Setting up the screen. Thought they had something set up there, but he'll be stopped just short, and it'll be 4th down.
You got to love that. On defense, one of the most critical statistics out there is how do you play on 3rd down? How do you prevent the opponent from keeping drives alive? Right there, tackling the catch. You gave up the completion. Whoop-de-doo. You set up 4th and long. You're going to get the ball back. Go get some water and celebrate.
Punt is on its way. He makes the fair catch, and they'll spot the ball at the 18. So Texas has it again, and here comes the offense. That last drive was promising for a while, but and the pressure gets there, and down he goes at the 18.
And how about the defense getting home with the pass rush? Playing man coverage in the back end. You need to win up front. Those guys got to get to the quarterback. You do a great job rushing the passer. I can play man when I got a pass rush like that.
Backed up now, here's 2nd and long. Looking for a man. It's Manning. Fires to the tight end. And they get to him and knock him down to prevent a big gain.
Well, a nice completion there, finding the tight end. And what's so beautiful about that is while they didn't get the first, they were able to pick up enough yards now to make the 3rd down manageable. Really putting this offense in a good position.
You know what they need, you know what they want, and you know what they deliver on 3rd down. More cowbell. And he's got enough for the 1st down. They'll mark it at the 34. And on that 3rd and short, I don't think he was unhappy to see that zone.
Nope, it's a great job by the offense. Hey, see where the holes in the zone are, sit down. You only need a little bit of yards on this 3rd down. Get the conversion, move the sticks.
The Longhorns will have it 1st and 10. Use the play fake, now to throw. On target over the middle. Gets it to the 46-yard line. First down for this offense.
It's a nice play call there. You've got 2-possession lead. You're trying to keep the defense guessing, right? Because you've got that lead. They know you're going to run it, but you still have got to be able to sprinkle in some shot plays and some vertical throws. That was really, really good thinking on that last play call by the offense.
Got it in the middle. It's Lockett. Really putting together a threat now. They get the first. It's at the 37.
That's a nice-looking catch on that play, and I know Texas is known for DBs, and they're known for having really good running backs. Not a lot of great receivers over the years. I'll tell you what, though, this guy has really showed up in this game. He's making plays, and I know they want to continue to build a legacy at this position here in this program.
Looking to throw again. Fires it beautifully in on the crosser. Brought down just outside the red zone. He moves the chains. It's at the 22.
The defense has got to be able to make a play at some point here in the second half. You're down 2 possessions. You need to steal a possession badly. You need to have a takeaway. The coverage is going to have to be way tighter than on that last throw. Otherwise, this offense is just going to go up and down the field.
Working the middle of the field, and it's complete. The ball is down at the 14 after that grab. Really good concept there to get things going and use the tight end early.
Yeah, I mean, just such a great job on first down, setting up an easier second down. Understanding I don't always have to push the ball down the field, but see the tight end, make the throw. No, it's not a big gain, but makes life really easy on me on second down.
And there was nowhere to go, just stopped in his tracks in the backfield.
Yeah, you just feel like the running back's asking for redemption on that one. You know, second and short, and you're giving him the football. He can't get the first himself. Now it's third down. He's looking over on the sideline like, call it again, throw me the ball, I can go do this. It's never a good feeling for the running back in that situation.
Dropping back, it's Manning. He's got it and still on his feet. So close to that end zone. He could almost taste it, but it'll be first and goal for this offense.
How nice is it in this offense to have a tight end like that guy that can come up with plays for you all over the field? We just saw the big third down catch. He set him up here in the red zone. I like going back to him, maybe lining him and flexing him outside, getting a one-on-one opportunity for him to use his size advantage.
Barges ahead. He had all kinds of company as soon as he got it. He had to fight his way back just to get to the line of scrimmage.
Defense is about firing off, hitting the offensive guys, and staying in your gaps. Everybody knowing where they're supposed to be. You could tell the defense, everyone was right where they're supposed to be, nowhere to run.
They moved it forward to the 2. Now it's second and goal. They want to run this quarterback. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage. As they get set to snap it, just about to reach the end of the quarter. They want to dance their way in on third and goal. Into the end zone he goes. Touchdown, Texas!
And the offense continues to run the football. The second rushing touchdown from the running back. The offensive line paving holes. Continue to feed this man the ball.
Getting set for the point after. And the extra point is true, and the lead balloons to 21. They put it in the end zone with a 12-play scoring drive. And they capped it off with a 1-yard plunge. Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. They'll be able to get off one more play before quarter's end. Back to throw, it's Shapen. Flips it out on the screen. They knock him down behind the line, and the defense finishing this third quarter in style. Guys, it is Texas who holds the lead, and they are starting to pull away as we come to the end of the third quarter. Let's take a look at how we got here. Just about ready to go in the fourth, and we'll see if any drama can be mustered. It'll be second down as we open the final stanza. Off play action. He got his hands on it, but couldn't hold on to it, and what a time that would have been for their first pick of the game.
And that's just the kind of game it's been for this quarterback in this offense. You got a great game plan all week long. You're watching it throughout practice. You think you're going to have a chance to light up the scoreboard, but they're just not able to hook up. You got to give this defense a ton of credit. They've done a great job in coverage. They've been breaking on passes. They've had their number, and that's why they're leading by as much as they are.
Gets rid of it. He makes the grab. Good call, good execution as they move the chains, and they have a first down at the 38.
The offense has struggled. They're not going to win this game, but trust me, this coaching staff is still trying to find things to build off of for next week. And after an explosive play like that, maybe they can generate just a little bit of momentum and gain a little bit of confidence that they can keep coaching up heading into their next game.
Out of the gun, the inside give. Stopped in the backfield, and that'll be a loss of 2.
And, man, it's nice to have a guy that is just better than your guys. And no matter what play you call, man, how about him getting in the backfield quick, penetrating, using his quickness, and using his strength to get him to the ground? That is a baller.
The Bulldogs have put themselves in dire straits after that last play. It's second and a mile. Oh, they're after him. Quickly to the tight end. Boy, that was a precision play all the way around. Throw, catch, tackle, bang, bang, bang.
And defensively, this is exactly what you want, right? You got the big lead, so you can play big zone coverages. Just keep the ball in front of you. Keep your eye on the quarterback. Rally to the football. Gang tackle. And you're going to win this game.
Ball is at the 41 as this defense tries to force the punt on 3rd and long. Got it in the middle. It's Thompson. Didn't pick up a lot there. Moved it forward just a few.
You got to like this defense, man. All game long, great job tackling the football. Like, you throw it on the perimeter, they're coming up. They're not giving the run after the catch to these receivers. A lot of times you see so much damage done after the catch. This defense has been dialed in, and the big play has been a non-issue.
On 4th down, they're taking to the air. Makes a grab past the marker. Found enough room to get it into enemy territory. They're down at the 43-yard line.
This has been a frustrating day. I mean, they haven't moved the ball consistently, and now you get a play, but they haven't put 2 and 3 and 4 plays together, and that's why they're trailing in this football game. So maybe they can find some kind of a rhythm here late in the game and get something cooking.
Pressure coming. They get to him as he throws. How about a little rhythm that you can tap your toe to on that throw and catch for the first down?
You know, you just can't coach toughness in quarterbacks. This guy's been sacked multiple times in this one, and on that last play, he gets drilled again, but he delivers a strike. I'll tell you what, this guy's going to be in an ice bath after the game.
Off the play fake on 1st down. Under fire. Blasted as he lets it go. Almost had the completion, just missed it.
Well, a lot of things haven't gone right for him. You saw an incompletion right there. It's been offense, it's been defense. They just haven't been able to click and get into a rhythm here. And now they're playing catch-up, and you know they're going to be throwing at each and every play here in the 4th quarter.
Plenty of distance between them and the sticks here on 2nd down. Leaves it with the back. He's stopped after a 1-yard pickup at the 25.
That's a fantastic play by the linebacker. He has such tremendous instincts. As soon as he sees run, he's coming downhill. He's got great speed. He gets you on the ground. That's why he's one of the best linebackers in the entire country.
Looking to throw, it's Shapen. Just missed on the connection, incomplete.
And it's just been that kind of day for this quarterback and this offense, guys. They have never been able to get into a rhythm throwing the football. Timing's been off. Accuracy hasn't been great. We've seen some drops. just not in sync, and that's why they find themselves trailing by a lot right here late in the game.
On fourth down, they'll pass for it. Got his man. Right on the money with that throw. The defense was there, but they are in the red zone with a first down at the 12.
Well, this offense has not put their best product on the field today. They've got no points to show for any of their efforts so far, but they've still got a chance. But if it's going to happen, it has to happen now in this 2-minute situation. This is where their playmakers need to step up.
Quick completion on the out. That throw and catch gets them down to the 6, and the defense is running out of answers.
And these quarterbacks have to really trust their wide receivers that they're going to be disciplined and run to the right route when they're throwing that ball to the outside like that, because those corners are sitting there on the inside, and the worst thing that could happen is to miss inside and that cornerback get going the other direction.
Under fire. Good job to toss that ball out of bounds and avoid the loss.
And this is a tough time for this offense because you're in passing mode. You're in comeback mode, and what is that? The defense knows that. Like, they're pinning their ears back. They're coming after the quarterback, and you've already struggled protecting your guy today and creating those explosive plays. This offense is going to have to buckle up and really protect their guy up front.
Incomplete, thanks to the great defensive pressure there that sort of threw them out of rhythm.
And the quarterback gets hit again. We already know this defense has gotten home to him multiple times in this game. So here you are, you're trailing in the game. Defense knows you're going to throw it. They're pinning their ears back. You can't feel very confident right now if you're the play caller, and certainly if you're the quarterback, that you're going to have time to throw.
They're throwing for it on fourth down. Firing to the right, complete. He goes out of bounds. He's a few yards short, and they'll have to turn the football over. And that decision will be questioned for a while. And he is stopped immediately by the big defensive lineman.
It's going to be tough sledding for the offense here. They're trying to ice this game by running the football and bleeding the clock. They've got a pretty good lead here late in the game, but the defense knows the run's coming, right? So they're going to be loading the line of scrimmage, getting stops like what they just did. Be interesting to see what the offense does on this next one.
Back to pass, it's Manning. Spits it out to the back. Caught. Good job running that route to get past the sticks because he got nothing after the catch.
Well, I tell you, man, this guy's been putting on a show all game long. We've seen his decision-making. We've seen his athleticism. Because of him, they've got this huge lead in the fourth quarter. So why stop throwing it? Just keep it going when the going's good.
From their own 18-yard line, it's first down. They'll run the ball. The clock is on their side. And he never had a chance. Just stopped cold as soon as he got it.
Yeah, when you get penetration by that defense right away, and there's no way to cut at all for that back, he gets destroyed right away. No way that play was going to be successful. Way too much penetration.
And the Longhorns trying to find their way forward after the big loss on the last play. Back to pass on second down. Hauls it in. Makes the grab almost to the first down marker, but a good pickup on that one.
And there's no mercy rule in college football. They've got a huge lead here in the fourth quarter, and they're still staying aggressive. They're still throwing the football, going out and executing, working on their craft. They've got bigger fish coming up down the road, bigger games. So you got to keep sharpening the tools, and that's what you're seeing here in the fourth quarter.
From the gun, he'll try to throw for it on third down. Oh, they really could have used that catch there. Physical pass defense. It brings up a fourth down.
And how about this offense? They're not worried about the clock. They're not worried about the score. They're not worried about early and down. Still trying to execute their offense. Still trying to make big plays. And they've had a great day so far.
The Longhorns decide to punt it away. This will be the second time they've had to kick it away. Not going to risk a return here. Calls for the fair catch and makes it just around the 30-yard line. First snap of this drive comes from the 32. Wants to throw on first down off the play fake. Intercepted. Big play stops the drive. Going the other way, and he's got room. He'll be stopped but not before getting the football and picking up big yardage on the return. What a play there. So now the Longhorns take over and they'll send out the offense. With this big cushion they're working with, Jesse, they're ready to send these fans toward the exits.
And you know the coaching staff has got to be so happy with how this offense has been able to come out here on the road, fight the crowd noise, and execute at such a high level, David.
Yeah, just dominate the football game. And now, listen, it's mode where I can run the football, run out the clock, watch this game go to zeros and get the dub.
The offense down to the 22 on 1st and 10.